Hello everybody and welcome back to Fighter Subscriber and the final episode for this season at least. Barring something drastic happening, I will be doing a second season of this. I've already got, I think it's 5 craft ready and waiting to go, but for a few reasons I wanted to draw this phase of the competition to a close right about now, but anyway. Here are the 4 fighters who have battled my own craft and, to varying extents, live to tell the tale, and today, as many of you have already guessed, they're going to fight each other. Let's go and meet them. So we start with the A1 Liberator Mark IIIR by Juna Moose, a beautiful, sleek, unconventional craft, the only drone in the competition, and after its strong showing against my own fighters, surely one of the favourites for today. Next up we have the F-15C Eagle by Daniel Garcia, aka Epsilon Asteroid. And now this is a beautiful craft, a lovely rendition of the legendary F-15, but did poorly in its fight. As I said at the time, perhaps let down by an engine choice which wasn't entirely suited to this particular task. Next up we have the Hellcat F-1082 by Cannon Baylor. I really do like this craft, handles exceptionally well, but didn't do too well on the day. As I said at the time, I think it got a little unlucky, but should its fortunes change, it could well be today's dark horse. Finally, we have the Hermit by Monzania Strike, a fun little unconventional craft, which I don't mind admitting really surprised me with how well it did against my own fighters, and will certainly be looking to give the Liberator a run for its money today. Now, very briefly, before we get started, I just wanted to say that, this wasn't on the original billing. To start with, it was just going to be subscribers send me their craft, I fight them against my craft, so because of that, and also to test something that's going to feature in the second season, I thought I'd start by declaring a winner of that original challenge. So I've gone through all 12 fights that these craft were involved in, and I've allotted them points based on kills and losses during those fights, and these are the standings I've come up with. Top of the tree on 12 points is the Liberator, so congratulations to Juna Moose, but does it have what it takes to triumph in the knockout stage of this competition? Let's go and find out. So I have randomly assigned each of the craft to one of these 2 initial matchups, and in the first of these semi-finals, Team A will be the Liberator, and Team B will be the Eagle. Let's get them into the air. And any second now, the first of these semi-finals will begin in earnest. There we go. These Eagles still travelling very fast, so they'll dodge missiles with relative ease, but it's going to be very difficult for them to get off a volley of their own. Now they start to turn, losing a little bit of that speed, popping some chaff. No such trouble for the Liberators. Very manoeuvrable craft. Don't have quite the ridiculous amount of thrust that the Eagles have, but that's it's sort of counted against the Eagles in most of the fights we've seen. This Liberator trying to put guns onto that F-15 as the F-15 breaks very low. Oh, scorches it. Not looking promising for that Eagle. Starts to lay down guns in earnest. Scorches again, scorches again. That has got to be some pretty hefty damage. Which Eagle is that? I think it's probably this one. More gunfire comes in, loses a wing. Oh, these Liberators are not taking any prisoners. As I said at the start, bound to be one of the strong favourites. And that is the reason why. This F-15 has a Liberator on its tail. Oh, wow. Okay. Looks like one of the Liberators, probably missile damage, lost its wing, was forced into the sea. Yeah, that kind of wipes out the Liberator's advantage. Squares things up a little bit. These F-15s do tend to get a little bit of missile damage on their opponents, and that is one of the other Liberators damaged. Still got most of the wing surface left, so shouldn't be too disadvantaged, but that is going to be a oh, and that is one of the F-15s taking some heavy damage. We could be down to 1-on-1. And this will be very interesting. That other Liberator does crash into the sea. Now it depends on whether this F-15 will distract that Liberator or whether... I think it looks like that Liberator is going towards the healthy F-15. It's a joust. Gets guns away. Breaks off. How is this looking from the F-15's point of view? The F-15 is coming around. We'll try to lay its guns. No, goes flying past. The Liberator only getting a brief moment to open up with guns of its own. Is that other Eagle? Enlong Kerman doing her best to escape, but yeah, out of the fight for her. Oh my word, what was that? That was a hand-to-hand kill by one of the Liberators. Can this thing still fly? This thing looks like it can still fly. Pulls out of the turn just fine. Now goes after chasing that last F-15. Okay, so this is a tricky one. I think, just from experience, I know that this fight is going to go on for years to reach a conclusion. So I think we're going to have to go to a judge's decision, and based on the level of damage, the ability of the craft to keep flying and potentially keep flying well enough to track a target and put weapons onto it, I'm going to have to give this to the Liberator. So the Liberator is the victor in the first semi-final. Let's go look at the next one. So I did watch that last fight through to the end, mainly because I was paranoid I'd made the wrong decision, but yeah, the F-15 had lost all its weapons. The Liberator did manage to come round and track the F-15 and get some shots off, did a tiny bit of damage, but ultimately both craft ran out of fuel almost exactly at the same time. But the F-15 didn't quite have the glide capability the Liberator did, so it crashed into the ocean first. So yeah, I think that was the right decision. Anyway, on to the second semi-final. In Team A we have the Hellcat. In Team B we have the Hermit. Once again, let's get them into the air. So we're nearly at the 8-kilometre mark, so any second now our second semi-final should begin. There we go. Both these craft reasonably manoeuvrable. The Hellcats, I think, might have the slight edge there, but there's not going to be a lot in it. My frame rate, my god, look at it. Yeah, there are a lot of parts in the sky at the moment. Hopefully not for too long. But both sets of craft get their volley of missiles away and start breaking low, trying to dodge. Genwig Kerman popping chaff as she heads towards the ground. Yep, no missile kills this side, it looks like. So both sets of craft should once again turn and loose their own volleys. No, it looks like... Looks like the Hellcats have managed to get their second volley away before the Hermits. Two of the Hermits managed to get a missile away. See if we can follow those in. No missile kills. I'm not really expecting any. As I said, both these craft handle quite well. I think they should be able to dodge whatever's thrown at them. How are we looking at the range? 4 kilometres now. Won't be too long before we hear the roar of guns. That's another one of the Hermits over there. Oh, and gunfire has started. One of the Hellcats has... Oh, everything's paused. Something's blown up. Oh, one of the Hellcats is out. That looks like it was a missile kill. And that looks like that might have been some damage there. That's one of the other Hellcats. So one of the Hellcats is definitely out, I would imagine. Given all the debris, yeah. The remains of it falling to the ground. One of the other ones looks like it's been damaged. We'll find that in a second, but... Jeffrey Kerman. Interesting spelling of that name. Tries to line up one of the Hermits for a quick revenge kill. Not sure how successful that will be. I'm assuming that pause is because That other Hellcat is crashing into the ground. But yeah, Jeffrey Kerman has got a fairly decent... Oh my word, I did not notice that. That other Hellcat has been blown out of the sky. Oh, that'll buff out. And just as I said that, this other Hellcat has been damaged heavily. Still has its... I don't know why it's saying debris. I mean, it's still got its weapon manager and its autopilot, but... Yeah, looks like it's going to be a watery grave for this Hellcat. Okay, so a brutal victory there for the Hermits. I do like the Hellcats. I thought they put up some stiff resistance, but after losing one of their number to a missile, they did look for a time like they were going to come back into it, but sadly it was not to be. Anyway, we've still got 2 more fights to do. Let's get on to the next one. So now we move on to the 3rd place playoff to see who will get the bronze medal. I think this video is probably running a little long by now, so this might be a bit edited down, but regardless, it is the Eagles against the Hellcats. Once again, let's get them into the air. So any second now, the fight will begin, and we will see who will salvage a bit of pride. Yeah, the game speed is not looking good at the moment. What am I doing? Let's just see. Yeah, we're getting about a second of game time every 2 seconds of real time, which, as I said, parts count, should rectify itself. I don't know who to put money on for this. I mean, before the fights earlier today, I would have bet the farm on the Hellcats, but those F-15s, they're certainly an interesting craft. They'll almost beat anything you put them into a fight against. I mean, they've always seemed to get some kills in the fights they've been in, but it's never really counted at the end of the day. So, well, let's just see how things pan out. Missiles going back and forth. No major... Okay, speak too soon. 1 major kill already. One of the Hellcats is pretty much out of here. Missing a lot of stuff. Missing a lot of wing surfaces. I mean, it's registering. Still got the weapon manager and the autopilot. But yeah, it looks like it's down to 3 against 2. Look how far away that Hellcat is. Just cannot get near them. And this is going to be... What was that? That looked like an explosion. That was one of the F-15s taking some damage. My mouse is playing up again. Oh, and Sandless Kerman loses both her air intakes, and it'll be a long way down from here, but she is most definitely out of the competition. Could distract some of the Hellcats in the meantime, though. Erdrid Kerman. I'm assuming you're trying to acquire a target. Oh, you've been distracted by the disabled F-15, who has been... must have been proving a distraction for a little while now, because Sunless has been stripped of very nearly all her aircraft. But that may allow the F-15s to get the drop on one of the Hellcats. Spins out. That could prove costly. No, manages to get it under control again before it costs him his aircraft, but gets a smattering on the wings. That Hellcat trying to pull some evasive manoeuvres, gets scorched again. Switching to the other fight, Maxine Kerman. Hellcat nearly goes flying past, but oh, this has got to be an ideal kill opportunity. Gunfire keeps raining in, just a smattering. More gunfire. Oh! There go the engines, there go the wings, there goes most of the body. And the Eagles are down to 1 craft. It will depend on how much this little bit of debris will distract that other Hellcat, but if that other Hellcat decides to immediately switch its attention to that other F-15, that other F-15 is not going to have a good time. It appears... Oh, but here we go. And the F-15 is largely shredded. Tries to keep fighting. Nearly had an opportunity to get a quick revenge kill there, but... We'll very shortly have the attention of 2 Hellcats, and I think that is game over for the F-15s. Yet more, look at the bullet holes on that wing and all along the body. Turns over, is pointing retrograde, slows right down, gets shredded, and that is the end of the F-15s. So congratulations to the Hellcats for taking 3rd place. Commiserations to the F-15s. It's been a very spirited performance by them in these last 2 fights, but now we turn our attention to the final. So here we go then, it has all come down to this. The Liberator versus the Hermit in the final of this first season of Fighter Subscriber. So for one last time, let's get them into the air. Getting to distance, and this is it. And I really have no idea which way to call this. I think before those earlier fights, I would have probably favoured the Liberator, but the Hermit just put in such a strong showing. Frame rate, game time, better than it was in the previous fight, but yeah, could still do with a few more kills just to get things moving a bit better. This Liberator now. One of the Hermits in its sight. That's a good opportunity. Does some damage. Doesn't look to be major. Still on its tail. Puts in some guns. Ooh, 1v1, v1, v1. I love it when it gets going with these little chains. Does some more damage. Can't get that crucial kill shot. That looks like that's debris. That is... I think that's one of the Hermits. Oh yes! It disappears from the vessel switcher. And the Hermits are down to 2 already. Look at this Liberator stick to the tail of that. Just glued to it. Has to break off because of a missile. Ooh, Sarah Kerman. Gunfire comes in, does some damage. Again, nothing major. Has lost a few control surfaces. What was that? That's another one of the Hermits forced into the ground. Oh my word. This is not looking good for the Hermits. Hermit flips out, that could be dangerous. Managed to avoid most of the gunfire. No serious damage done, it looks like. No missiles. Lacking control surfaces. It is not looking good for Sarah Kerman. I can't really see a way back into it for these Hermits. Here comes the gunfire. Does some more damage. Oh! Bit of hand-to-hand damage there, and the collision shreds one of the Liberators. I did not see that coming. Just a cloud of debris now in the air, but still 2 Liberators left to overcome. More gunfire raining in. 2 on his tail now. Just a smattering. Loses an engine. Starts to spin out a little bit. This craft just keeps getting harder and harder to control. Gets into a flat spin. Yeah, I don't think there's any coming back from there. I think that is it for the Hermits. And we have a champion! What happened there? Oh, this one's run out of fuel. This one's still got some remaining. So yeah, an interesting fight, but the Liberators take it. So congratulations to today's double champion, the Liberator, and congratulations to Juna Moose. But that will bring an end to this season of Fighter Subscriber. As I said earlier, if everything goes to plan, I will be bringing this back for a second season, but more news on that nearer the time. Lastly, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all our competitors today for sending in a craft and making this possible. It's helped not just this mini-series, but also the channel. If you have a craft you'd like me to fight, then by all means send it in. I'll put all the information in the description. I can't imagine the rules will change too much between now and the second season, and I look forward to seeing those. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.